22nd day of August 2024. Good morning from this part of the world, Enugu State, Nigeria. Of course, it's found in the southeastern part of the country. And of course, my name is Vaughn Amadokwe. My pleasure to be here with you this morning on Cool City Express. It's time for us to get into the conversation this morning, and we will be talking about something that's quite very interesting. In a world driven by technology, Nigerian youths stand at the forefront, harnessing the power of digital innovation to carve out new pathways for sustainable development. Now, today we share the stories of young Nigerians who are transforming their lives and communities through the power of the internet. From social media influencing to tech entrepreneurs, we explore how the digital landscape is unlocking new opportunities for sustainable development. Every click, every post, and every digital interaction is a step towards progress, a step towards a brighter future. But how are these digital pioneers shaping Nigeria's growth, and what challenges do they face in this digital journey? Joining me this morning Solomon Okeke, author, digital content creator, and coordinator of Impactfield Global Youth Initiative. Good morning to you, Solomon, and thank you for joining us on Cool City Express.
Good morning. It's indeed my pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much. Also in the studio with Solomon this morning is an author, spoken word artist, personal development trainer, and convener of Elevation Conference, Cynthia Chinaza. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining us on Cool City
Good
Express.
morning. I'm super glad to be here this morning.
Thank you very much for coming on Cool City Express. So we're going to start off this way. When you talk about the tech space where young people are operating mostly these days, a lot of people don't seem to understand, what actually goes on there and how people can earn a livelihood from there. What actually happens within the tech space. So when you see a young person tell you, "I'm a tech person," um, the first thing that comes to the mind of the average person could be, okay, this person could be involved in some kind of Yahoo, stuff like we usually talk about it here in this part of the world. But how first of all, how viable is the tech space?
Okay, so I would say that the world is moving, and the world is moving to tech. All right, and we're already in tech, anyways. But as we keep waking up and sleeping and waking up, the world is evolving, and tech is the future. If we don't utilize the tech space, then in a few years from now, we will be left behind. All right. So it's viable because that is where the world is moving to. That is where everything is headed to. It's also very good because it makes life easier. It makes life better and more enjoyable. Even as it also give us some of the things that we need in life.
Okay, so Cynthia, let me ask you, as an average young person, do you think that technology has been really embraced by majority of the young people who are existing in Nigeria today, as Nigeria is today?
Okay, yeah. I can answer yes to that question, but then we are still kind of backward because most youth are still ignorant of the fact that this is something that needs to be embraced. Like the majority of people that are embracing it or that have embraced it already is just still minimal. We are still backward from kind of the global population, or maybe the population of us in Nigeria here that is needed to embrace, like to have the knowledge, to have this knowledge.
Hmm.
It's still kind of, we still need to level up.
Well, why
We
do you
still need.
think we have a low level of participation in tech activities in this part of the world? Because I know that it starts from owning a smartphone. That's the simplest
Yeah.
way to get involved.
Yeah.
And majority of Nigerians have smartphones.
Yeah.
So why do you think there's a low level of activity in terms of tech entrepreneurship, for instance? Why do you think that happens?
Okay, there are so many factors that could cause that. One of them is ignorance. So many
Mm.
people don't know. or kind of that's ignorance. They are not aware that this is how the world is moving or this is where the world is moving to. They are just there. They have their phones and they are scrolling up and down everywhere on social media, like wasting their time, wasting their data. And sometimes they see meaningful information, but kind of they don't know that this is this. And sometimes it might be lack of information. So many people are seeing it tech, and all of those information on tech, so many programs on tech, so many teachings on tech, but so many people don't really understand. They are still kind of waiting for someone to explain it to them, or they need someone that can be able to break it down to them in a level, in a way that they can understand. And then another factor is laziness. So many people know, like they are aware that this is the, but then kind of they might try it out and see that it's not really easy. Because for you to get an amount of results, you have to kind of put in the work. But so many of them are lazy. They don't want to work it out. They don't want to put in the effort that is needed to get this thing. So many people that have gotten to the top, they show them only the results that they have without showing them the process. So they want to get to that level. They want to get that result without moving through that process. So these two are kind of some of the reasons why it has
Okay.
been like that.
Let me add to what she just said, especially about ignorance. Just like you mentioned, one of the basic ways of even getting involved in tech is owning a smartphone. But the question would be, majority of the people that own a smartphone, do they know up to 30% of what their smartphones can do?
Can do for them.
Yes, that's a high level of ignorance. And then she mentioned about, some people keep scrolling. They keep scrolling on social media. They keep burning data, but they're not asking themselves, how is this thing I'm doing going to make me money? Or how is it going to increase my influence and make me worth hearing or worth listening to? They're not asking because there is a mental programming already that once you go to Facebook, you have to start scrolling and then look for where to put a comment, and you go and then you drag people and people drag you and all that. That's a mental programming that people feel like once we go online, we just want to burn the data and then we zoom off again. That's a mental programming, and if you really want to make maximum use of the tech space or the digital world, then you have to start reprogramming your mind that, okay, when I go online, what am I looking for? Reprogramming your mind to be able to search out opportunities, opportunities to learn, opportunities to earn, opportunities to be better. So that's actually what I would love to contribute on that angle.
Okay, so let me take you to the realities on ground in Nigeria today.
Yeah.
The federal government have tried to roll out a number of monetary policies, for instance, a cashless policy that almost crippled the economy in the twilight of President Muhammad Buhari's administration, where there was this cash crunch and everybody was looking for money.
Yeah.
And the digital platforms through which people could do transactions were also a bit choked. People transfers weren't going and all that. Simple things like viewing someone else's status on WhatsApp at some point could be a big problem because data service providers actually do not provide fast internet services as much as they tout it to be. Some persons feel Nigerian telecommunication companies spend a lot more money on advertisement and promoting their products than actually improving on the quality of
The
services
services.
that they give and all that. So, bearing in mind that we still have a lot of things we are grappling with as teething problems in, basically on infrastructure that will support technological advancement in Nigeria, do you think that the average young person will still want to get involved fully in that technology driven world when a lot of the activities we still do here are practically manual? You still go to banks and you fill in tellers, when you could actually do that digitally and all that. You still do transfers and you are debited and it takes God knows how long for your money to reverse, and sometimes it doesn't ever get back to you and all that. I remember what happened to me. I tried to purchase power tokens and then I was debited. The power tokens never came. EDC said the value of the money is not with them. The bank says they have transferred, and then nobody knows where my money went to. I wasn't defrauded, but probably the switch between the bank and the power service provider and all that. So, do you think we are actually ready for that next level of existence?
The thing is that we can never be too ready. Okay. We can never be too ready. If we are not ready, we are not ready yet. But I think we are in the process. I think we are heading somewhere. I think we are improving. All right. And how are we going to harness this improvement and become better at it? If young people who are intelligent get into these spaces to solve problems, already what you've mentioned are problems, and if we keep talking about the problems and we don't have solutions to them, then there's going to be bigger problems. We're going to experience more problems. All right, but if we have solutions, or if we start standing up to seeking solutions and providing solutions, ideating solutions, thinking out solutions, providing them, then we'll get better by the day. All right. And no country of the world is 100%. We may not be close to 100%.
Yeah, a lot of countries in Europe are close to 100%.
But none is 100.
But they are close to 100.
Close to, yes. Exactly. So that's why I said
someone who scored 70 in an exam has
A, yeah.
And then if you score a 30, you're actually a failure.
You're actually a failure, yes. But none is 100. Like, I mean, perfect.
Yeah.
We can get to excellence. We can see countries that are excellent, right? But we cannot say that there are countries that are perfect. Therefore, excellence is a journey. Excellence is a journey, and we will get there by rising up and providing solutions, not just sitting down and talking about it and crying over it. If we keep crying till tomorrow, we will not get to where we're going to. We'll rise and I've seen a lot of young people, who are taking responsibilities and providing solutions. It may not be too visible. They may not be too visible or too audible, but everyone giving their own quota to the country and to the digital space, one day it will become something very massive.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the potentials there in the actual spaces people can, get themselves into. Software development and all that, the actual things that are potentials that are there. But just before that, let me take you back, Cynthia, to what you talked about laziness and all that. We have this thing about trends in Nigeria. Basically, every other young girl's bio on Instagram or on Facebook reads influencer, because influencing seems to be the basic thing that's trending right now. So, what do you think can be done to make young people's mind a lot more creative about the other things they can do within the tech space other than the ones that are trending? Because I get to Instagram and I see everybody, like I said, is an influencer. I'm not seeing any product they're influencing on their timeline. All I see is probably...
They really don't understand what influencing is.
I see a lot of nude pictures and nude videos, and they say, contact me if you want to sell your market and all that, except they are the markets themselves. But then, what do you think can be done to expand or broaden their knowledge base to see what other things that are there? Then we'll come back to Solomon and talk about the actual things they can do.
Okay. I think those people that are saying they are influencers, majority of them don't really know what influence is all about. Just like you said, they can tell you to contact them to market their products, or they are just marketing themselves. They think it's just about having a good number of followers and then making posts, and people are engaging on the posts, showing good lifestyles and all of that. So influence is way beyond that. It's really, really way beyond that. So they need to get to a point where they understand that what influence really is. It's not just about the number of followers you have, and then making posts and selling goods for people and all of that, and then get paying you for the things you do for them. So one of the ways that we can use to get it to the mind of people on the importance of embracing what we're talking about is the people that are already in it being consistently, like being in their face almost all the time, because obviously it's not easy. It's not easy. So many of the people that are in the tech space, so many people that are doing the right things, they don't usually get the huge followings. It's always possible, but it's very rare. So they don't always get the huge followings. When you make educational posts or inspirational posts, it doesn't get more engagement than when you make other kinds of posts. So sometimes people are discouraged. Sometimes they just stop, or they become inconsistent and face other things,
Or
like
probably
put their
join the bandwagon.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
even if they don't join, they will just be discouraged. And then maybe they will just lower the standard, lower the frequency with which they put. So but then they should be encouraged in themselves that this is a challenge, them not getting the audience that they need to reach out to, them not getting the huge following, them not getting the engagement,
Mm.
because obviously someone is seeing. It might be one person, it might be two persons, it might be 10 persons, but someone is seeing what you're doing, and it's inspiring something within that person. So those people that are already in this space, they should just continue, because when the good is not very visible, or how
Mm,
is it said, the bad will continue overcrowding that good.
yeah.
So those people that are doing the good should just keep doing it with all consistency, with passion, with fire, with everything that they have. Let it penetrate.
Mm.
Let it penetrate both on Instagram, every social media page. Let it penetrate. They should just keep on doing what they are doing. They
Okay.
should continue.
Okay, so before we get to Solomon, if you just joined us, we're looking at the potentials that there are in the digital world, technology, and all that. And I'm joined this morning by digital content creator and coordinator of Impactfield Global Youth Initiative, Solomon Okeke. He's also an author. Cynthia Chinaza also joins us this morning. She's also an author and spoken word artist, personal development trainer, and convener of the Elevation Conference. So, back to you, Solomon. What, aside from the social media space, which seems to be the only tangible thing that Nigerian young persons have a handle on,
Yeah.
where we now have skit makers,
Mm.
people who sell libido boosters, and have all that and all that. So, what other things, tangible things, can people do in the technology space?
Okay, so I think it's there are so many potentials and so many opportunities in the tech space. I think I'll have to start with edutech or edtech, the way we call it, which simply means education technology. Anything you are doing, you can leverage technology to boost them and to become effective, become popular, make more money also. So you're a teacher, you can use the social media to even sell yourself. What you're engaging in is what we call education technology. You can also use websites, softwares that you developed, as long as they are tilted towards educating people and providing educational services. That is edutech. All right. It's a whole ecosystem on its own that can help you, venture into technology, use technology to your advantage. We also have the fintech, which is financial technology, has to do with banking, anything that has to do with finance. All right. And, if you have the capacity to, get into that, that's also a great place to be. All right. Then artificial intelligence is powerful. It's changing the world now. You don't even need to sit down and start racking your brain on some things that in five years ago we were trying so hard to get into. So artificial intelligence is powerful. We can get into that also. Cybersecurity, that is ensuring that there is security in the cyber space. All right. It's also a part of the digital world and technology world you can venture into. and it's actually lucrative. All right, software development is powerful also. Website designing, you can learn. You can start with maybe HTML, CSS, get to Python, and all that. It's just about you deciding on what you really want, and staying true to it, committing the time to it. All right. E-commerce is also part of the technology, ecosystem that can change things for you. What that means is e-commerce, that is um, electronic commerce, that is selling via the internet. Freelancing is also a part of the ecosystem where you deliver your services, sell things, deliver services or sell things very virtually. You don't need to see. You can be working in companies in America and different other parts of the world without going to see them or without them seeing you physically. You just interact over using technology. All right. So data analysis is also there, and so many of them, machine learning, robotics, Internet of Things, and all that. I think just a quick search on Google can also help anybody get to know more. All right. But what do I recommend for someone who is starting? Just start from somewhere. I mean, first of all, have a basic knowledge of the computer system. What is when you press Control plus C on on Microsoft Word, what does it mean? When you press Control A, what does it mean? Just have basic computer knowledge, and then you can start delving into some other things, like maybe continue with learning how to use Google products online, like Google Sheets, Google Doc, Google Form. Then you can now move on to specializing in any of the aspects of the technology you want.
Okay, so capacity building is actually key to being part of the transformation that's taking place in the world.
Very, very important, because the capacity that can change our Nigeria now and the digital space currently is not where we are currently. So if we want to become better, then we have to build ourselves more and build the people who are using technology in the country more. And then personal development is key. Personal development, because most of the times we're going to be saying, oh, Nigeria is backward, Nigeria is backward. What actually makes Nigeria backward is because it has a lot of people in it who are backward. Not because of one person at the helms of affair, but because of a collective ideology, collective contributions of backward people. So if we want to exonerate ourselves, what do we do? Start developing ourselves. If 70%, 80% of Nigerians start developing themselves in the tech world or in different aspects of their lives, Nigeria will leave that state of backwardness, because we have more people who are enlightened, who are educated, and who are taking responsibilities. So it's about being true to yourself and improving on yourself while you believe, and also try your best to ensure that others get the information that they should also improve on themselves. And everybody keeps improving on themselves. The change we desire starts coming.
Okay, so back to you, Cynthia. What do you think government, or probably some other um, development partners or whatever it is, or first of all, let me ask, who do you think should step in to bridge the digital literacy gap, improve limited internet access, and all the other digital infrastructure that could aid young people to do what we are talking about today? Who do you think should take the first step? Aside from the people themselves, do you think government can do more? And if they can do more, what exactly can they do outside of government? Who else can come in to bridge these gaps that exist here?
Okay. He said we should exonerate the people because I wanted to start there first.
Okay, so start there.
The people, because it's kind of looking like nobody wants to take responsibility. Everyone wants to put the blame on somebody else. Everyone wants to put the blame on other people. But to you, where you are, what are you doing to make improvements, to add to something? What are you doing with the one you have? Because sometimes we are waiting for when things will be better, or when things will be perfect, or when things will get to this certain level, when things will be A level. But with the one you have, what are you doing with it? At the level where you are, what are you doing? At the position where you are, what are you doing? So we as the citizens, as individuals, we have our own role to play. And then I understand that so many people, of course, are doing their best in that aspect, but then some other people are not doing anything. They're just there and waiting for other people to do the work for them, waiting for other people to take responsibility for things that they are supposed to do. So we as individuals need to take responsibility first. And then, of course, the government, they can do well by listening to the people, listening to the youths especially, and then finding their pain points, finding where they have needs, finding where they can help, anywhere they can help, and actually going ahead to help, to make provisions where needed, to to just generally help out. And most times we are asked to speak out, we are asked to you know say something, we are asked to contribute. When we do that, more often than not, we don't get any good response in the aspect of them doing, kind of looking at what we say is our need, looking at what we need, looking at our pain points, looking at the things that we are finding very difficult, and then going ahead to help us do it. Because there are so many things as youth, as individuals, as citizens that we cannot do on our own, and we cannot do by ourselves, that it is their responsibility to do. So when we as individuals have done our own, they, as the government, can also do their own. It's more, it might not, it will not work if it's extreme. Maybe the other part is doing this and the other one is not doing this. It can only work when both collective efforts are doing their own. The citizens, the youths are doing their own parts, and then the government or other bodies that can use, like organizations and NGOs and other parts. And of course, it's not that they are not really doing, they are doing something, they are helping out. But then I think we need more.
Yeah,
We need more, both from them and from the individuals.
I think I would love to say something about how the government should step in ensuring that we step up in the digital space, especially for young people. Light, that's power supply, is one essential thing that can change this country. If you give the young person of Nigeria 24 hours power supply, I know people are going to misuse it, right? I know people are not going to value
I
it.
think the bigger problem is being able to pay for it right now, because if you have 24 hours, that means you have to be paying
Higher.
heavily.
Yeah,
for it.
but it will never be as costly as using diesel.
Okay.
It will never be as costly as using diesel. So, and we have the capacity. Nigeria has the capacity to actually pay for it. If we start cutting away the kind of excesses we have in this country, I tell you, we can afford 24 hours power supply on a budget, on a good budget, and that will not, be too hard on the people. All right. If you give Nigerians, young people, electricity, and you give them data, all right, make data affordable, they can change Nigeria within some period of time. So the government, I don't think we lack the capacity to have 24-hour power supply. Other countries that we are better than have it. But that issue of leadership that is, at the helms of affair, people, because if there's no power supply, someone is actually profiting from it. Someone is profiting from lack of power supply. So I feel they should step in and do away with all the selfish, attitudes and profit that they're going to make Nigeria better. If we have power supply in Nigeria, things will change.
Okay, so we're going to be wrapping it off right now. But just before we get to that end part, are there other incentives like do you think free Wi-Fi's at parks and maybe educational institutions can also help drive the desire for young people to get into the tech
Yeah,
space?
yeah, of course. Of course, adding to the light issue and the data and of course, adding to it, I think educational systems they can really help also. And if they can organize training because if a young person kind of have they have light, they have data, and obviously they cannot get all the information that they need online. So if they can organize trainings or teachings, maybe online or offline, virtual or something, it can also help because so many people don't know. So many people have laptops, they have their phones, they have data. There are places that have lights, like consistent light, but so many of them don't know what to do with it. I know someone that have laptop, but she only watches movies
Movies.
with it. So kind
At
of
least
if they
she's doing something with it.
it's not something that is productive. It's not productive. So if she can be enlightened, if she can be, if there are so many people like that, so if they can be enlightened, if they can be taught, if they can be guided, like given a certain knowledge, they can do better. They can improve. They can make contributions. They can do something productive with those times, the effort, the time, the light, the data that they waste on frivolous things. So I think yes, they have a role to play
Okay.
in that part.
Well, frivolity is an open-ended tunnel. Some persons might think watching a movie from morning till night is actually profitable to them. At least they're not bored.
Although it's profitable though.
Depends
Depends
what you
on
call
the
profit.
Yeah,
depends on the kind of movie you're watching. Because there are movies you watch and you'll be enlightened more, you'll be
Of course.
but
inspired,
if
you
you do
get
that, if you
ideas,
keep
you'll be
watching movie
educated.
consistently and you're not, even if you're learning anything, you're not acting on them, it's a waste
Yeah,
of time.
that's
It will leave you worse than it
Okay,
saw
yeah,
you.
yeah.
so let's begin to advise young people on what they can do. As we wrap up this conversation this morning.
Okay, so I would recommend that every young person that is listening to us should, make a decision, to empower themselves. If you're here, you're listening to me, the responsibility lies on you. In as much as we will ask the government to do things, what if they are not doing it? What if they cannot afford or they don't think it is something they want to do? And then you really want to change. You really want to change, and when you change, first you change for yourself. When you become better for yourself first, and it now spills down to your family before it even gets to the larger society. So every young person listening to me, I would recommend and I would encourage that you start asking yourself, how do I become better? What do I do to empower myself so that I can become that person who can recognize opportunities when I see them, and who is ready for those opportunities. All right. Ask yourself, what do I do? What do I do? If you have lights and you have a laptop and you have a smartphone, I mean, you have almost everything you need to start up your journey, with. So what do I do? The internet is very open. Google is free of charge as long as you have data. The biggest university in the world is free of charge. YouTube, very free, and as long as you have data. And most of the time you do have data because you go online, you browse
Yeah.
Facebook and all that. So why not start channeling those resources into something that will profit you and make you better, and you can also use it to expand your knowledge, become better, become profitable, and you can earn more, and position for global opportunities.
Once you have power supply, once you have
Have your
data and a
phone, your
smartphone,
smartphone.
Netflix comes to mind. That's the average line of thought. So, Cynthia, your last line of advice for young people.
Okay. One factor that I want to measure on is taking responsibility because everything that we have talked about, uh, if anyone keeps waiting for the right time or trying to blame someone else that this is the reason I don't have lights, I don't have data, I don't have this one, I don't have that one, I'm waiting for the government to provide this one, I'm waiting for this one and the other one, you will not really get started. Take responsibility. Everything that's happened where you are, you have to take responsibility because it's your life. Whether most of them might not be your fault, but you have to get to that point where you are, you understand that you are responsible for yourself. Nobody is going to do the work for you. And nobody is going to provide everything that you need 100% of the time. All the top people that we are seeing as role models, they didn't have everything 100%. They didn't see the picture 100% of it. They didn't have everything that they need 100%. They just got started with what they have. So everyone should take responsibility. If you can hear my voice, I would advise that you take responsibility for yourself. Decide that you are responsible for yourself, and every action, every decision, whatever it is that comes out of your life, you have to take responsibility first before trying to blame someone or before trying to push it to someone. Take responsibility for every outcome that you have seen so far, and then that's how you can begin to take the baby steps and keep going.
And those responsibilities must also be taken by government and other relevant agencies that must provide this infrastructure and backbone for young people to thrive in the
Yeah.
Exactly.
technology
Yeah.
space. Thank you very much, Solomon Okeke, author, digital content creator, and coordinator of Impactfield Global Youth Initiative. Thank you for being part of the conversation this morning.
My pleasure.
Many thanks to Cynthia Chinaza, author, spoken word artist, personal development trainer, and convener of the Elevation Conference. Thank you for coming
Thank you so much.
this morning. Many thanks as well to Jude Ubu, who's been my formidable producer this morning, and to you that listen and join us tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. The program makes a return. My name is Vaughn Maripe. Good morning to you.